Canada has joined the U.S. and Europe in slapping Russia with a new round of sanctions ahead of the second anniversary of the war in Ukraine, and exactly 1 week after the death of a high-profile Russian opposition leader. Touria Izri is joining us now from Ottawa with the latest details. So, Touria, what can you tell us about the sanctions?
Well, Canada has imposed an additional 150 sanctions on Russian entities and on 10 individuals. These sanctions are really designed to reduce Russia's ability to restock its military and to target individuals who have been able to evade sanctions. So one of the sanctions targets an aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin, as well as senior officials at private and state-owned companies. Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly made the announcement today in Ukraine. She is there meeting with some of her counterparts at the United Nations, discussing the war in Ukraine as the second anniversary approaches tomorrow. And she made the announcement a day after a commitment from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Take a listen.
We stepped up with a total of over $9 billion in aid, and our commitment is and will continue to be, we will be there for Ukraine with as much as it takes for as long as it takes.
And Touria, we know this is the second anniversary of the war, but can you talk about the timing of the sanctions?
Well, these sanctions were unveiled exactly 1 week after the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Now, he was in an Arctic penal colony. He was out for a walk and then suddenly became unconscious and died, and was only 47 years old. So there are a lot of questions surrounding his death, but U.S. President Joe Biden met with his family yesterday and said he has no doubt Russian President Vladimir Putin was behind Navalny's death. The U.S. also unveiled its own package of sanctions, considered the largest yet, and it is also targeting prison officials who the U.S. says are connected to that death.
All right, Touria, what additional support is Ukraine getting from the West at this point? Ukraine is running desperately low on ammunition. Russia has lasted in this war much longer than many Western governments had anticipated, and Ukraine says it is in desperate need of those ammunitions and more military equipment. But a major military aid package is tied up in Congress right now, with Republicans blocking that. So that's partly why U.S. President Joe Biden is really relying on these sanctions and financial tools. There are also a lot of concerns about what might happen if there's a change in the White House. Republican frontrunner Donald Trump said that he would abandon NATO members, including Canada, who missed their defense spending targets, and would encourage Russia to do whatever it wants. All right, Touria, thank you for breaking this all down for us. We appreciate it. That's Touria Izri joining us from Ottawa.